Mountains. In this video, I'm going to answer the question, at least for book three, where do you get your ideas? It's the question I'm probably asked more than any other question. And really, it has a few answers, but one of them is just getting out into nature and actually hiking the places that I'm going to write about. So let's go to the Grand Canyon and I'll show you where I got some of the different ideas for several of the clues and the settings for where the story takes place. So to find the clues and the locations for book three, we hiked to the Grand Canyon in one day. People don't recommend this, and for good reason, because it's about a 19-mile circuit. And it ends up being the same circuit that the kids take in the book over several days. So we started our hike at Grand Canyon Village. Actually, we took a shuttle out to an area called Yaqui Point. And then from Yaqui Point, we made our way to Uwa Point. You can see the colors of the different types of rock. They change as you descend into the canyon. At Skeleton Point, you really drop off down this path of a lot of switchbacks across this mesa. And then it drops down again to the river where you cross Black Bridge, hike into Phantom Ranch. So this is Bright Angel Canyon here. And then cross back over Silver Bridge and then hike along the river. This is beautiful because there's a lot of little beaches here. And then up through this valley and then into Havasupai Gardens. Just nice, just beautiful. It's like an oasis. And then you can see the path really changes. You'll see video of a lot of this until you hike all the way back to the top at Grand Canyon Village. We were only on the trail a few minutes when we ran into this bighorn sheep. It's looking pretty mangy, but I guess that's life in the Grand Canyon. We had started around 6 in the morning and the sun was coming up, and as it revealed the layers of the canyon, it was just almost really impossible to comprehend. And then we saw the river for the first time, just a sliver of green in the distance. We got closer and you could hear it. And then we watched the trail just kind of dead end into nowhere. We came around the corner, and that's where I found the place where I knew, like, okay, this is where we need to have the first clue. And it was a tunnel cut into the rock. No map ever told me about this, but as we explored it, I was like, okay, we've got to hide something in here in the story. Well, you emerge out of that then, and this is where I found another location that really grabbed my attention, and it was this building. I think so many people walk across this bridge and never really see this. And I was like, what is that? I couldn't find anything in any book. I couldn't find anything online about it. I actually had to contact the ranger at Phantom Ranch, and she was able to help me out to let me know what it is. So I'm not going to tell you right now because you're going to have to read the book, but one of the clues is hidden inside of that old structure. As we made our way to Phantom Ranch, you can see the ancestral Puebloan or Anasazi ruins of a small village along the river here. And there's a great little informational piece that explains it. Well, this is us, and you can hiking into a Bright Angel Canyon. There's the ranger station, and this is the Phantom Ranch Canteen. So, and there's a couple of the buildings where you could stay. But you'll notice that something interesting about this, and these next two photos I'm going to show you, and this gave me the idea for a clue. All right, see if you can see the difference between this photo taken, I'm guessing in the 80s, and then this one. Did you catch it? And this third one, it's a little more pronounced. The ceiling is gone. They remodeled it. So I'll get ideas from things like this, like old photographs, reading actually about the architecture and the history of Phantom Ranch. And I just got this kind of crazy idea that maybe there was a room up at the top before it was remodeled. So around lunchtime, we make our way back, going across Silver Bridge, which becomes one of the locations for one of the more intense scenes in the book. And then you hike along the river for a while, and there's these different beaches. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And then you start making your way up. We stopped at this place called River Rest House, and it features in the book. And there was a clue I really wanted to, like a location clue that I wanted to add, but I didn't. It just didn't work out. But now you guys get to see video of what I was thinking. Like there's all these different carvings that were in the wood, and then like the space back in here would be like the perfect place to hide something. But we kind of already had something hidden in the tunnel, so I decided not to use that one. Then as we hiked up, we saw this sign, and very soon we were able to follow those instructions because we were passed by a mule train, heading down to Phantom Ranch on a tour. And then we made our way up through the canyon, and I was just surprised about how much water and how green things were. There were a lot of flowers. There's even a waterfall close to this area that's kind of tall, like 20 feet tall. Now this is called Devil's Corkscrew. That was not fun. And they have these signs posted, like just basically saying like, hey, this is incredibly strenuous. It gets really hot. I think it was like 105 in the shade by the time that we got to Havasupai Gardens. So this is the entrance, the very beginnings of, I think of it as an oasis of Havasupai Gardens, just a beautiful area. And I found a clue idea here at one of the rest houses. So you can see the cross beam there. And if you zoom in, someone had, it's graffiti, which is sad, but it looked like a cool symbol. And I thought, man, that would be a cool place to put a clue. So in the book, there's this the symbol that's actually carved into it. That's looking down. You can see the green in the distance in the valley. That's Havasupai Gardens. So we're getting towards the end of our hike, and we look over, and there's this California condor. Absolutely, I was going to say beautiful, maybe regal, unusual, let's say that. And then as you get towards the top, there's a pictograph, an ancient drawing, like 4,000 years old, they think, that's done on an overhang. And hundreds of people miss this. They just walk right under it every day in the Grand Canyon. Thanks for joining me on this trip down into the Grand Canyon. I want to end with a thought that I share with a lot of students when I'm doing classroom visits, and that is that only about 6% of your ideas are any good. Now, that might seem discouraging, but it all depends on what you do with that other 94% because they have a role. We don't want to criticize them or throw them out or forget about them. Instead, it's almost like you're making an idea soup out of them. You're saying like, I wonder where that might go. And so you're tending this soup with that other 94%, and it's percolating. You go to sleep, you wake up, and you have a new idea. It's interesting that like our brains, the activity is more towards the front, the prefrontal cortex during the day. And then at night, as we go to sleep, our thoughts, it's like all this activity moves to the back of our brain and into this slower place where we're trying to connect memories, information, what happened during the day, and make sense of them. And a lot of our dreams actually come out of that. And I think new ideas come out of it the next day, the next week, the next year. And so as we cultivate this soup, this kind of garden of ideas, year after year, month after month, that's where I think most of our ideas spring from.